Hook. You won't believe what I discovered the day two men in fake police uniforms showed up at my front door. They claimed I was breaking neighborhood laws because I refused to join the local homeowners association. But as I stared at their fake badges, my heart pounded, and not from fear, but from anger. Something about the way they kept pointing to their office across the street didn't sit right with me. And when I finally dug deeper, I uncovered a truth that shook the entire neighborhood to its core. Because that shiny HOA, the one they used to bully dozens of families, wasn't even theirs. It was built on my land. And once I realized the power I actually had, a broken bar, the story took a turn none of them could have seen coming. For months, I had resisted the hope. Everyone in the neighborhood warned me, they'll make your life miserable if you don't join. But I stood my ground. My late father always told me, never pay for change disguised as rules. The HOA fees were outrageous, and their so-called guidelines made no sense. No garden ornaments, no painting your door the color you wanted, no parking in your own driveway overnight. I didn't move into this house to be micromanaged, so I kept refusing their letters. That's when the knock came. It was a Saturday morning. Two men in crisp uniforms with shiny badges stood tall at my doorstep. "Sir," one said sternly, "we've had multiple complaints. You're violating community codes. Step outside." Something about them didn't feel right. Their badges looked cheap, like something off eBay, and their demeanor felt rehearsed, like actors reading lines. Still, they carried themselves with intimidation, as if expecting me to cave. When I asked what department they were from, they quickly flashed IDs with logos I had never seen. And then, I noticed, the paper said Neighborhood Enforcement Division. That's not real. That's not police. My stomach dropped. These weren't cops, they were fakes, sent by the HOA to scare me. Rage simmered inside me, but I played along. "Oh really?" I said, pointing across the street where their glass-paneled HOA office sat gleaming. "And who exactly sent you?" They hesitated. Then one mumbled, "Our office." Right there. That was their mistake. Because while they thought they were intimidating me, they had no idea I had been quietly reviewing my property deed for weeks. And I already knew something they didn't want anyone to find out. That very officia, the pride of their bullying empire, wasn't sitting on HOA property. It was sitting on mine. But before I could expose them, I had to be smart. After the fake cops left, I went straight to the county records office with my father's old documents. My heart raced as the clerk unfolded the yellowed survey maps. There it was, in black and white, how clear boundary lines proving that nearly half an acre, including the spot where the HOA's shiny office stood, belonged entirely to me. It wasn't theirs, it was mine. Memories of my father's words came rushing back. He had always told me the land was valuable, but I never imagined it was that valuable. The HOA had been parading around, threatening families, collecting money, building their kingdom on land they had no legal right to touch. When I confronted the HOA president, she laughed at first. "Don't be ridiculous," she scoffed. "We bought that land fair and square." But when I pulled out the certified county maps, her face went pale. She stammered, calling for her board members. Within days, I started receiving letters, to some begging me to sell the land to them, others threatening me with lawsuits. And then came the numbers. One by one, they came to me with their stories. A single mother fined for hanging her kid's bike on the porch. An elderly veteran threatened with foreclosure because he planted tomatoes instead of roses. Families bullied, intimidated, silenced. They had all been waiting for someone to stand up to the HOA. And now, because of a line on a map, that someone was me. So I made my move. I served the HOA with an eviction notice. Yes, an eviction notice for their entire office. At first, they thought it was a bluff. But when the sheriff confirmed it, the panic was real. The same bullies who once sent fake cops to my door were now scrambling to save themselves. It wasn't just about the land anymore. It was about justice. Neighbors started cheering me on. Meetings turned into rallies. The whole board fractured as members quit in fear. And one demolition day cameo, when the bulldozers rolled up to tear down their officia, it wasn't just walls coming down. It was years of fear, intimidation, and greed collapsing into dust. I didn't just reclaim my land, I reclaimed my dignity. And in doing so, I helped my entire neighborhood breathe free again. Closing message. Sometimes, The people who try to control you the most are standing on nothing but borrowed ground. Stand firm, dig deep, and you might discover that the power they use to scare you has been yours all along. And if you're ever faced with intimidation, remember, the truth can shake walls stronger than fear ever could.